There are numerous examples of movies from the 80s that people could point to explain why Gen Xers are built differently. One of those is the film that started a franchise of many movies, making many jokes at the expense of many marginalized groups that would get many complaints if it were made today. And yet, here we are, at the beginning of a 7-week journey, ready to tell everyone that Police Academy is not that bad. Welcome one and all to It's Not That Bad, the podcast that looks for A grades and B movies. Hello to all of our listeners in Whitehorse and the Yukon territories and around the world. How the heck are you guys doing? All right, before we even get this 7-week run of every single movie of the Police Academy franchise going, we have a little bit of housekeeping here to do, because we found out that this podcast that you are listening to, created by a couple of idiots in a basement with microphones, has been nominated for Outstanding TV and Film Podcast at the Canadian Podcast Awards. At the same time as our sister show, There Can Only Be One, has been nominated for Outstanding Music Series at the Canadian Podcast Awards. So I want to take a quick moment here to thank anyone and everyone who has voted for the podcast. After 4 years, this has been some fun. And this is just one of those kind of reassuring moments that someone out there is listening. So thank you all to anyone who has ever voted for us. This has been fantastic. It is an honor to be nominated. And congratulations to all the other podcasts out there that have been nominated. So do us a favor, okay? Go to the Canadian Podcast Awards. Take a look at all the podcasts that have been nominated in every category. Vote however you want to vote, but also follow them, subscribe to them, listen to them. All right, let's grow this Canadian podcast, community and get everyone up there. But as far as this podcast goes, it's time to get down to business, because we are now covering the very first Police Academy film. And here to join me, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks. Freeze, dirtbag. This is a stick up.
Oh my God. I knew that was coming eventually. I knew it was coming eventually. But okay, we had done this once before where we went through a franchise and found all the movies that qualified. We did that earlier this year when we went through 4 of 6 of the Sharknado films, and what a journey that was. But yeah, we're now about to jump through 7 Police Academy films, of which people are now sitting there going, wait, there's 7? Yeah, there's 7.
Well, I too am going, wait, there's 7? And first of all, I have to admit, this was a first watch of the first Police Academy for me.
What?
Yeah. I tuned in about 4.
And with Citizens on Patrol.
Yeah, and think that I've seen maybe 4 and 6, but I didn't know there was a 7th. And
wait, you actually watched 6?
I never. Yes, I was one of the 5 viewers. No, this movie, come on. It is a classic.
I will admit that I know I watched 1, I know I watched 2, I know I watched 4, I know I watched 5, Assignment Miami Beach. I don't remember watching 3. Everything else is going to be brand spanking new. But yeah, we actually found a box set of all 7 movies on Blu-ray. So we are physical mediating this to death. By the way, physical media rules. Go for that. But yeah, Police Academy. The fact that all 7 of these films qualify baffles me. Actually, no. You know what? I'm going to backtrack on that. I'm not surprised, because these aren't films that are made for critics, because we base our, movie acceptance level on critic scores. But this one, you would think that this one of any of them shouldn't qualify. Are you surprised we're starting at the start?
You know what? I don't understand the whole critic mentality. I don't understand knocking a movie. And this movie, I mean, even the first of the, future 7 movies under this title, they are just fun. They are meant for fun and freeness, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was also a very different time and a lot
a lot of the jokes, yeah.
A lot of questionable humor, but that was also of the time.
By today's standards. That's the key thing here. And we're going to get this out right now, right? Because there is a lot of humor in these films that was perfectly fine, perfectly normal in 1984 when this film came out. We are now 41 years later. What? 41 years later? Yeah. Those jokes. I don't know if this film, as it was written then, could be released today without pitchforks and torches at midnight.
And it's so funny because that was the era of movies that I know we grew. I'm not trying to age you here, but we grew up with that level of humor.
I'm fine. I'll be fine over here with my walker.
Get your walker, get your wheelchair and your Metamucil. However, even with that said, okay, and even ingrained in our childhood core memories is, and I remember watching these movies when I was quite young. Again, I started at 4, but still.
Right.
Still, there was a scene in this movie, and it still sat really hard with me to watch today. And it's so funny how that mentality flips, you know? But yeah, I mean, at first I'm watching and I'm like, oh, they didn't. And then I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
they did.
They did, but it was also kind of necessary for
something to happen.
Plot development.
Well, I mean, I want to pull a page out of Kevin Smith's book here. Okay, and if you remember An Evening with Kevin Smith, and someone had approached the microphone and asked him about jokes in Chasing Amy and how, if Kevin Smith is such an ally of the LGBTQ community, how could he, write these kind of lines into a script like Chasing Amy? And the whole reason for him to be able to do that is that those lines are said by the idiot in the movie, right? He's wrong all the time, this character. So it makes sense for, if something wrong is going to be said, give it to the character who is demonstrably wrong every time. And I realize as we're watching this film again, all of the humor that would be a no-no today, given today's sensibilities, are said by characters who are idiots or heels. So it makes a little bit of sense. And you can then sit there and take a look at some of those jokes and one-liners that, in 1984 sensibilities would be okay. Today, you're like, oh, the idiot said it. That takes away some of the seriousness of it a little bit.
It's so interesting because along that same line, I was actually reading a book about Tarantino and the making of Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the exact same thing where you can show these incredibly outlandish, violent scenes.
Right.
In the context of it being like so overdone that you kind of remove the sense of gore and violence because it is just that so over the top.
I can see that with a film maybe like Terrifier or something like that, where more blood, more guts, and yeah, even the fight against the crazy 88s, right? There's so much. Now they also went black and white for that, and that's like a total WWE thing, like back in the the Attitude Era, where it's like, oh, we're going to show a lot of blood, but we should make it black and white so it doesn't look like blood. But I get it. But yeah, we are about to start a 7-week journey because every single Police Academy film qualifies, but we get to start at the start. But before we do, it is time to take the very first Police Academy film and trailerize it.
The ranks of law enforcement are about to get rankled when a city initiative to expand the recruitment of future police officers to include people from all walks of life, old white guys in charge will do everything in their power to stop it. But have they met their match when a group of recruits with no discernible policing or even people skills try to make the grade? Leading the insanity is Carrie Mahoney, a washout forced to join up or end up in jail. He'll do everything he can to get thrown out until he meets Karen Thompson, a girl he hopes to have sex in the city with. Together, with their unit of uselessness, they'll prank, party, and possibly offend everyone watching this film 40 years later. Gear up for a laugh riot of a film in that there are both laughs and a riot. It's Police Academy, rated 14A for arresting officers in development.
I love the Sex in the City part. Well done.
Thank you.
Hey there. Try to remember this because I think you're going to need it. QUINCE.com/Pantheon. I'll remind you again in a minute. Okay, with these cold mornings and holiday plans just around the corner, I want my wardrobe to be simple and sharp. I was just pulling out my winter clothes, and right at the front were my Quince cashmere sweaters. Now look, I've been a huge fan for years. They just feel incredible, and they really hold up well. Honestly, seeing them all laid out made me realize I need to grab a few more to get me through this winter. That's the best part about Quince. Their staples are an amazing value, like their famous $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters that just feel like an everyday luxury. They deliver this quality by partnering directly with ethical factories, cutting out the middlemen. So you get premium quality at half the cost of other high-end brands. My Quince cashmere is definitely what I'm reaching for most this season. Give and get holiday staples that last this season and beyond with Quince. Go to quince.com/Pantheon for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Pantheon. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Pantheon.
But let's get into who is in this movie. The movie stars Steve Guttenberg, Kim Cattrall, Bubba Smith, Donovan Scott, Michael Winslow, David Graff, Leslie Easterbrook, George Gaines, Marion Ramsey, Bruce Mailer, Brant Van Hoffman, Scott Thompson, G.W. Bailey, and Andrew Rubin. This was actually the cinematic debut of Marion Ramsey, who we all know as Hooks. However, there is an almost starring in this one, and it is fascinating. Firstly, as Commandant Lassard, Robert Conrad was offered the part, but he turned it down. But the part was actually written with Leslie Nielsen in mind. And I can kind of see that.
I can 1000% see that.
Right? Because keep in mind, too, this is like 4 years after Airplane. So that makes total sense.
Oh, that would have been so great.
It would have.
Why did he turn it down?
No, Leslie Nielsen wasn't offered the role, but it was written with him in mind.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sure, and I know I've tried my handwriting. I'm not very good. You'll never read any of it, but that's okay. But when I create characters for my writing, I do occasionally have actors in mind for who would play that role in the eventual movie. So I'm sure writers do that quite often.
Well, how many times do we cast a book that we're reading?
I'm still waiting for Netflix to pick up the Newsflash series written by Mira Grant and casting Joey King in it. It needs to happen. Make it so. But in the role of Carrie Mahoney, listen to this list of actors who were either considered for, auditioned for, or like even offered the role. Okay. Michael Keaton, Tom Hanks, David Naughton, Steve Bassett, Judge Reinhold, and Bruce Willis.
Oh, wow. Now that is a stellar lineup. But you know, with all that said, they didn't do so bad.
No.
Casting Steve Guttenberg.
No.
I like him.
I can understand that. Like, out of all that list, Tom Hanks and Judge Reinhold are the ones that make the most sense to me.
I don't know. I like Michael Keaton.
I think Michael Keaton would be a little too mischievous looking in this role, keeping in mind the time that this came out.
I don't know. I mean, he rocked Bruce Wayne in the original Batman.
Okay, but Bruce Wayne is not Carrie Mahoney, though.
No, but I could see Michael Keaton as the other guy that had the, shall we say, the harem of girlfriends.
As Georges Martin, as played by Andrew Rubin, yes.
The player.
But you know what's funny? How is this for sealing the deal? Steve Guttenberg's father was actually a New York City police officer in real life. So It makes total sense. And apparently when he went to the audition, he was wearing a police t-shirt that was his father's.
Okay, well,
yeah,
there you go.
Now, it was directed by Hugh Wilson, but there's an almost directed for this. Dom DeLuise was considered for the director's chair, but he was already committed to doing the Cannonball Run too. Now, I had to look this up because we are from the Toronto area, and there's a whole lot of Toronto in this film. The Blue Oyster Bar, and instantly, anyone who has seen this film, is actually what was known as the Silver Dollar Room in Toronto.
Yes!
Now, unfortunately, that place did close in 2017, but just this year, Dinah's Tavern has opened in the original Silver Dollar Room location, and apparently the Silver Dollar Room sign is hanging up on the inside.
Okay, but where? It looked like it was located like in the middle of nowhere, though. In the movie, it was secluded, was it not? Wouldn't it be more of a downtown type core?
Well, the inside of the Blue Oyster Bar was the Silver Dollar Room. I'm not quite sure where the outside door was.
The outside location, though, in the movie was meant to look like it was this kind of like, I don't know, far off.
Well, the Blue Oyster Bar felt like it was kind of in the city, but yeah, I get it. The film had a budget of $4.8 million, worldwide grossed $81 million, and was actually the 7th highest grossing film of 1984. When it was released on the March 23rd, 1984 weekend, oh my God, that makes me feel old. It makes me feel old to say some of these dates. I'm not going to lie. It debuted at number 1 with $8.5 million. The only other debut that weekend was Racing with the Moon, which debuted at number 7 with $1.8 million. Now, rounding out the top 5, tell me you don't feel old listening to this. Splash sat at number 2, Footloose number 3, The Ice Pirates number 4, and Tank number 5. And I have watched all but one of those films. Splash I haven't seen. There are some actual accolades for this one. At the 1985 Jupiter Awards, it was nominated for Best International Film, but lost to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, when it comes to critics, in the 80s, there were no bigger critics than Siskel and Ebert. Roger Ebert gave this film 0 stars.
Oh.
0.
No stars.
The 0 was like a rare score for Roger Ebert, and he usually kind of, gave it out for films that were just too gratuitous and just way beyond the edge of decency. This one he gave for 0 stars just for being unfunny, apparently. But we're dealing with the critics on different sites. Over at Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a tomatometer of 58% with a 64% popcorn meter. At IMDb, it sits at 6.7 stars out of 10 for a 67% score. At Metacritic, the lowest score of them all sits at 41%. Letterboxd, 3.2 stars out of 5, 64% score, and the Movie Database, 67%, giving this film an aggravated aggregate of 60.16%. So it's a college pass, but ridiculously barely a college pass. But that Metacritic score is bringing it way down.
I'm still trying to get over the unfunny quote.
Well, I mean, in his review, he was comparing it to movies like Airplane. He called it sophomoric and stupid, and all. He just didn't find it funny. He found it lowest common denominator. And there's a kernel of truth to that, but it's Police Academy. Don't be looking at a film like this for intellectual humor.
But that's exactly the point of it, is that they're bringing in, civilians off the street.
Yeah.
And not only that, but opening the recruitment doors to
anybody,
all walks of life, right? So you're going to get a lot of that humor. You're going to get a lot of, I mean, I'm thinking of the hand-to-hand combat or the self-defense scenes.
Mm-hmm.
They were hilarious.
They were.
And you know what I loved about it is the rise. And I know we'll talk about this later, but you're taking literally a motley crew of civilians and training them. And by the end of the movie, you get that moment of pride and you're like, yeah, they did it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they actually did it. And I think they're going to do well. And yeah, I think that's an unfair statement.
All right, well, let's get into the breakdown of this movie. We start, of course, with Steve Guttenberg playing Carrie Mahoney. Your thoughts?
I thought he was fun. I also like Steve Guttenberg from like 3 Men and a Baby. You know,
Well,
I think
let's
he's
not forget Cocoon as well.
well, okay, yes. I think he's funny and in a childlike innocence, he's kind of got that like naivety charm.
I don't know if I'd call it naivete, but I'm going to wax nostalgic here, right? You take a look at some actors in the 80s, and I could see why they would put Tom Hanks on the list of actors to consider for this role, right? Because what Tom Hanks did in Big, he gave it a whole lot of wide-eye wonder, right? And the thing with Carrie Mahoney is that he has a full character arc, right? When we first meet him, he is basically just breezing by in life, doing the absolute bare minimum because that's all he wants to do. He knows that he's not going to go to jail because the chief of his district or whatever was friends with his father, kind of thing. I guess his father passed away. So Carrie Mahoney is really just kind of there and doesn't want to be any bigger than just there until he gets a deal. It's like, you can go to jail or you can go to join the police academy. And, he's doing everything he can just to get out until he finally finds a reason to be there. Of course, the reason being Thompson, of course. But eventually, he has that change of heart and starts to become gradual. But along the way, we see him connecting with his unit. We see him actually helping people. So when the moment comes for Mahoney to become heroic, it makes sense because they built it up along the way subtly. Like he's not a stoner. He's not a drunk party guy. He's not an idiot. He's not crazy. He's just meh. He doesn't have a purpose. He found purpose. And we see that along the way.
I see more to his character.
Okay.
I see him as being, through his life, kind of the class clown, the really incredibly smart and cunning. And the reason I say that is even when, from the beginning of the movie, when he's working in that parking lot and this customer's coming in and saying some really nasty things to him, you can tell that he's smarter than that.
Mm-hmm.
He is so clever that he's asked to park a car in a lot that has no space. So
a Trans Am, no less.
So he angles it in. Like that kind of class clown or dumb foolery.
Mm-hmm.
But not dumb. He's not dumb. It's clever foolery.
I don't even think it's tomfoolery per se, but I think it's more along the lines of he's bored, right? He is smart. He does have, a courageous bone in his body because otherwise he wouldn't do some of the things that he does. But he's bored and he's directionless and rudderless. And sometimes you have people like that where they don't know what to do with themselves. They have no direction. They have no motivation. But you know that they're smart and brilliant and can do things. All they need is someone to put them on the path, lead them down the way, and then like kinetic energy will keep them going. Mahoney is that. He's perpetual motion the minute he starts going.
But he's also, there was a reason why in a group of recruits that he rose to the top, and he was very much the unofficial leader of this, again, motley crew of you've got every type of persona, you've really got so many different characters.
Would you say he has a plethora of character?
Oh my God. So, yeah, you know what? Like, he was very much their unofficial leader.
But I think more so because he's a people person at the heart of it all, right? He doesn't deal well with people screaming at him, yelling at him. We see that early on, right? So, of course, someone like Lieutenant Harris, he's just not going to mesh with, right? But he's in the right camp. He's in the right group because everyone around him is there to kind of find themselves.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, I think because he's cunning, the deal that he struck right away to get Jones in to the police academy with him, not only did he talk himself out of trouble, right? He could have been thrown in jail, but he not only got himself pardoned and into this police academy program, but, you know, a new friend that he literally just met in the hallway.
Yeah. It's kind of like being like a kid, right? Like when you're kids, it doesn't matter. You meet someone, you're instant friends for life in an instant. That's kind of what it was like between Jones and Mahoney.
But he definitely seems that likable.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I don't know if you put Bruce Willis in that role. I don't know if this is the role for him. I don't think this is the role for Michael Keaton either. Kim Cattrall, who played Karen Thompson, your thoughts on her?
Absolutely adorable.
I mean, yes, but I have issues with the character.
You do?
I do have issues with the character.
What's your issue?
My issue is that it's a waste of a character.
Oh?
Okay, when we first meet Karen, okay, she's clearly in the back of a limo being brought to the police academy because she wants to find people who are not like them. And she has this accent going on, like this upper crust, faux English kind of accent that disappears the minute she's at the police academy. So I don't know what the plan was for her character, but like once she's there, every other character has a chance to develop. They have something that makes them unique. Thompson's whole raison d'etre in this film is to be a love interest to Mahoney, and that's about it. And the problem is you have a very good actress playing this role. Thompson doesn't have anything to do but be there for Mahoney, and that's a discredit to the character.
You know, the thing I didn't understand about her character development is there wasn't much of a lead up to the point where he was looking out the window and it was that pivotal moment where he could have gotten a pass. He could have gotten out of the police academy, but he stayed because she was flirting with him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that it seemed completely out of character from what we were led to believe, and there was no true build in their relationship at that point to at least acknowledge that little playful flirtation. So it was odd.
He finally got to see her thighs. So that's exactly, what she was doing because she was wearing shorts and whatnot. So, but the thing is, I can understand the playfulness of it, but they hook up pretty darn fast at that party. It's like, okay, there's Tackleberry playing saxophone and people are taking their tops off. It's like, you want to go for a walk? Yeah, we're going to go for a walk. Next thing you know, they're making out. Thompson's character doesn't have any reason to be outside of Mahoney from a writing perspective.
Yeah, again, I think it would have been more interesting if she kind of played hard to get. It was almost kind of like it happened way too fast and way too easy.
It feels like she's using Mahoney because Mahoney is the opposite of what her family would want her to hook up with.
Yet I think it's also a credit to Mahoney's, again, he's just so damn likable that maybe she was helplessly in love.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just that really anyone else in the unit, she's not going to go for. She's not going to go for Tackleberry. She's not going to go for Hightower. It's not happening. David Graff, who plays Eugene Tackleberry, The very first character we meet in this film, your thoughts?
That party scene, he was just creepy. I mean, aside from the fact that he sleeps with a gun and he's kind of a little unhinged. He's
Just a bit, yeah.
But yet I'm almost surprised that he waited until this like open recruitment to apply for the police academy. I think it would have been even funnier if he applied several times before and was turned away, because that would have been the character build. That would have been like, this is finally his chance because the doors are a little more open now.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's working as a security guard shows you that he wants to be in some kind of role. Maybe he's a washout from the army, who knows? But it's one of those things where I take a look at the rest of this cast. Like we've covered Mahoney, we've covered Thompson. The rest of the unit, the rest of the cadets, for the most part, are single note jokes played throughout the film. Tackleberry, of course, is the gun nut, the crazy one, the one a little bit on edge, the one you're not quite sure if when he pulls the trigger, if you're in the way, is he going to move? Like, that's the thing. Tackleberry is that one note joke, but that one note kind of carries well enough through the film because, again, it's not sprinkled all the time. That's the beauty part about this movie, is that it has a big enough cast of one note characters so those one notes don't get beaten to death. Like, even the end of the film, after the riot scene and after they stop the guy who's got the gun on the top of the roof, by the way, spoilers like a mofo, he's banging his head on the car because there was gunplay and he wasn't involved. Like, this is the subtle level of joking with these one note characters that you can pull off and just, again, sprinkle it here and there.
Again, he was completely unhinged. I tend to wonder if they did some kind of a psych evaluation, if he would have been turned away based on he's got some serious PTSD or some serious issues there. He's a little unhinged.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to actually give him like a license to carry.
I was about to say, if Tackleberry didn't have a license to carry, he'd be going through withdrawal symptoms. Bubba Smith, who played Moses Hightower, your thoughts on him?
Absolutely love this character. I love that he's got the physical build and the strength, like, and you know what? He's got heart.
He's the thing.
Got heart.
This is the one character I think they added a bit more depth. They added as much depth to Hightower as they did to Mahoney. I think that's why the character of Hightower was so well received. You have former NFL player Bubba Smith in the role. So, of course, his presence is just going to be there, right? He is big. He is intimidating. So what did they do with him, right? His first job was at a flower shop before he joined the police academy. He goes back to the flower shop. The moment where he goes to Mahoney in the middle of the night, worried because of the driving test. Like, there's a real vulnerability that Bubba Smith adds to this character that I think that just makes him even more likable.
1000%. And then that pivotal scene where he stood up for Hooks.
Yeah. Which, again, you have a racist line said by the idiot character that triggers this. But again, the racist line is said by the idiot. So, yeah, it's not great 41 years later. But coming from that character, it allows that moment of retribution to exist.
And again, it was pivotal because that was his, even though he rocked his driving test.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a physical force to be reckoned with. He was like the perfect physique for a police recruit.
Yeah.
Right? But again, he was dismissed because he stood up for Hooks, because he might have used a little bit of force.
A little bit of force?
A little bit of force and damaged a police car.
He manned the crap out of that thing.
Well, I mean, I think it would have been different if he had attacked the guy, the idiot. That's
the thing, right?
But it made it comical because of his strength and force. He was able to physically flip the police car. It was, you know what? It was, they took a hard to watch scene and brought some humor to it, made it a pivotal, reason or conflict why he was dismissed from the force.
An instant retribution to Copeland for saying what he said.
Yes.
None of this, delayed gratification kind of thing. It was instant and immediate and decisive.
Yeah. And I love the scene too where Hooks followed him out.
Yeah.
When you can tell he was going to pack up his stuff. And the end where he helps to save the day.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Michael Winslow, who played Monsignor Larvell Jones, your thoughts on him?
I absolutely loved his character in this movie. It was so absolutely perfect. He can make it sound like gunfire or have the police sirens. Now, first of all, where did he get that little tiny projection microphone that
I have no idea.
He just sort of handily has when needed. But you know what? Also the instant connection with Mahoney.
Well, that's the thing. One of the things I actually really like about Jones, and maybe this is just me, right? He makes funny noises and that gag is good. No worries about that at all. But one of the things that I liked about it was that he wasn't just doing it for gags and jokes. Jones comes across to me as a character who didn't have many friends, as someone who was probably always seen as an outsider and probably had a lot of time to amuse himself. So there's the scene where Harris is checking it lights out to make sure that everyone's gone to sleep, and he's pretending to play a video game with a fake joystick and making all the noises. There's the scene where he's walking down the stairs after Mahoney is thrown out of the police academy, and he's making these chopper noises. Stops it. You want a left? Right? He feels like someone who spent way too much time making themselves happy, and now he's amongst a group that accepts him for exactly how he is and feels comfortable enough to still do the things that bring him comfort.
You know what? I think this is a really deep observation of his character. I think he's also, again, the funny guy, right? Especially after the horse scene where everyone else was straight-faced, but he broke the silence by making horse noises.
And everyone's just doing their best to try to hold it together. I love that scene. But yeah, he is the perfect epitome of this band of misfits that come together, right? People trying to find purpose and community, and Jones does that here. Donovan Scott, who plays Leslie Barbara, your thoughts on him?
Aw, mama's boy. That's about it. No, you know what? His rise to, you could tell that from the first combat training.
Yeah.
Where he totally got his ass kicked. You could tell that he tried really, really, really hard, and it worked for him. His rise to success, I think, was the most applaudable out of all of this crew.
Is it a bit of a trope, though?
It's 1000% a trope.
Yeah. That's the thing. And I can see where critics can take a look at some of these characters and go, that's a trope, that's a trope. I get that. But I think Donovan Scott plays Leslie Barbara as well as can be, despite, again, the one-dimensionalness of it.
But that's the movie, though. You get a band of misfits. Mm-hmm. And they put it out on Front Street where even the captain was saying, you are a band of losers, right? And I'm stuck with you and you're stuck with me. And here we are. They were completely honest about the intention but the thing is, when you see a rise and you see that this band of misfits or band of losers starts to really come together and succeed, then that's applaudable.
Yeah. But I mean, you take a look at movies, from the 80s where this trope kind of exists. This is Chunk from the Goonies, right? This is, and I can't remember the character's name from Monster Squad, kind of the same thing that happens, right? Where you have someone who's a little larger, and a little bullied, a lot bullied, but finally gets the strength and the courage to turn it around. Characterizations like this, tropes like this exist because people exist like this in real life. People who are bullied, people who are put down, people who don't rise to that magazine level of perfection. But then when they do rise above, it is applause worthy. Characters like this exist for the people in the audience who can associate with them. So trope, yes. Effective, yes.
But they put that out right on Friend Street,
Mm-hmm.
right with the first frame where they were saying, everyone from the community is welcome. All races and genders and weight is not going to be a deciding factor.
Right.
So that's exactly where they were going, and they were completely upfront with it right off the bat. There was no question.
Is it weird that a 1984 film with a whole lot of racist and sexist jokes is also a perfect embodiment of diversity and equitable, and it's DEI at its best, right? Bring them in, train them, and it's fantastic when they actually do succeed. Marion Ramsey, who plays Hooks, I know you were looking forward to this one.
I love Hooks. Oh, I love her. She's so fantastic. She's my favorite character. She's so... I love her inner strength and her absolute just joy that she brings to everything she does. She's always got this lovely smile, and she seems so incredibly pleasant and likable, and you applaud for her and you want to see her find her voice.
Yes.
Especially since the sergeant is so mean to her.
Yeah. No, Lieutenant Harris was no friend of hers whatsoever. But I think my favorite scene for Hooks goes back to the driving test where she's driving around and singing Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And it's just so perfectly Hooks, right? It's a Sunday drive for her, right? And the whole scene at the end where she finally, screams it out kind of thing, don't move, dirtbag. Like, that's a Silent Bob moment, right? Where you wait the whole movie for Silent Bob to say the one thing that he needs to say, right? The sign on the back of the car says Critters of Hollywood. Like, that's the Silent Bob moment. Hooks has her moment. You waited the whole movie for it. It landed perfectly. But I still prefer the driving test scene for her because it's more of her personality.
Oh my God. It was throughout the entire movie, though, from the beginning, from the, where he was so incredibly condescending and he's like, here's the window and I'm the bad guy and I'm stealing the TV. And then she's like, freeze, this is a stick up. I just, oh my God. You're rooting for her and you absolutely want to see her win and you want to see her succeed.
One of the things I did notice too is that just to show the team building that's going on during the training course, you often see Thompson and Hooks kind of walking together, kind of arm in arm, and it just shows that a community is being formed within the unit. And I think that's a good thing.
Oh my God, I forgot to mention that. I absolutely love that. That, they were pretty much the girls in this squad.
Yes. Like, minus Callahan, but yes.
Well, yeah. So they made that instant connection and it didn't matter, race or societal upbringing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All of that in the camaraderie was put aside. They became instant best friends, and I love that.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. This Monday night, witness the end of an era. John Cena takes center stage for his final appearance ever on Monday Night Raw. One last match, one unforgettable farewell. Come celebrate the legacy of a true WWE legend. Monday Night Raw, November 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, only on Netflix. Be there for the moment everyone will be talking about.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
I'm still trying to figure out what this character's raison d'etre is. Bruce Mahler, who plays Douglas Fackler, this is the guy who joins the police academy, has his wife on the hood of the car, trying to get him to not go. Your thoughts on him?
Didn't I say when I was watching this, we haven't seen a whole lot of this guy. And aside from the fact that I wouldn't want to give him a gun because he seemed to be like a disaster waiting to happen, like a walking disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And that, just bad things tend to follow. He was kind of there. I think maybe he was there to represent like the kind of
clumsy idiots,
nerdy, geeky. I'm not quite sure. There wasn't a lot of character build and there wasn't a lot of involvement. I think he was just kind of there to represent, I hate to say, but a
geek.
A geek, the geek population.
This is the Revenge of the Nerds population.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. The fact that he inadvertently starts the riot at the end of the film by tossing an apple out of the cop window. It's like, but that's really that seems to be his only reason for being there.
And his line, "It's crazy out there. I don't know. Everyone's fighting and rioting. It's weird."
Yeah, I think of everyone in this movie, Douglas Fackler is the least developed character. Less so than Karen Thompson. Andrew Rupin, who plays George Martin, or George Martin when he doesn't fake the accent. Your thoughts on him?
Well, this was the guy that I, again, didn't recognize because I started around the fourth movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he makes it past...
He doesn't make it past one. This is his only Police Academy film. After this, he only did 2 other films, Joe Bash in 1986 and Deadline Madrid in 1988. Now, Joe Bash was a TV series. Deadline Madrid was a TV movie. He quit acting after all of that and unfortunately passed away in 2015. But no, this was it. This was all there was for him after Police Academy. No other sequels.
I will tell you, though, I don't agree with the turn of characters, and not just for him, but the scene where he sneaks into the girls' dorm and
Callahan's there.
Callahan basically, I don't know, forces him to stay, and then they fall in love, or he falls in love with her. Now, that does a disservice to Callahan's strength of character. 1,000% it does. I mean, you know what? She's supposed to be badass and she's all business. But actually, you know what? I kind of maybe like that it almost turns her onto the side of the recruits.
But to the same token as well, yes, she is badass. Yes, she is all that. This is the way she would get what she wants, right? And think about it too. Like to quote earlier in the film, Johnson's everywhere. So everyone's saying yes sir to her, which is why, every time that Martin says it is like, yes, ma'am. Like she is take charge. She is take control. And she sees herself, I think, a little bit above some of the floozies that he's hooking up with, because let's be honest, he's hooking up with multiple girls in the dorm. So she's proving by taking him, it's almost like cavewoman kind of styles, right? She claims him for herself because she's better than all the other floozies that he's hooking up with.
What I love too is where she, as the relationship builds, she's like, and you will meet my parents and you will bring flowers.
Right.
And
at no point does Callahan ever wuss out. Every step Callahan does, she is in charge. I don't think this is a detriment to her character at all.
well, I saw it that she wanted to be, again, respected. And I almost kind of think that to add a relationship angle is a disservice.
I don't think it's as she wanted to be respected. She is respected, but she's also kind of feared, right? I think this is, who's to say that Callahan doesn't have feelings as well, right? Who's to say Callahan doesn't have urges? But
clearly,
in her way, this is how she's going to go about it, right? Like she's going to take what she wants. And also, think about it. For George to be hooking up with all these women, multiple women, all the time, there's got to be some special sauce to him.
Would you say many, many women?
Many women and many times. But yeah, so clearly there's some machismo. There's something. He has mojo. So of course she's going to take that for herself. This is very much a alpha woman kind of style, which kind of fits into the Callahan character.
Right. And she also kicks ass, let's be honest.
Hells yes. I feel like we've already talked about her already, but Leslie Easterbrook as Callahan, your thoughts on her?
I liked her. I really did. I was just, again, concerned that to add a relationship aspect was a disservice, but you've convinced me. I think you were right.
Nope. Stop right there. Stop right there.
And scene.
But to the same token as well, I love the fact that little by little you see her siding with the recruits.
Again, yes, absolutely. Especially the horse. As she was trying to not laugh, it was probably the most powerful of the scene.
Right, because that's supposed to be like Lieutenant Harris's equal, right? They're supposed to be the meanest instructors at the academy, and she's there like stifling a laughter at his horse slicked hair and circumstances.
Yeah, he definitely had some.
He had a little bit of leftover.
Some gel in his hair.
Is that what we're calling it? We're calling it gel?
Well, they had to call a vet.
Brent Van Hoffman and Scott Thompson. These are the guys who played Blanks and Copeland. These were the two
idiots.
Cadets, exactly, the idiots, yes. But the cadets that Lieutenant Harris recruited in order to be able to help him weed out the undesirables. Your thoughts on them?
The bullies, the tough guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were necessary. I don't think that they continue on, do they? I don't remember them from... It was a completely different yet the same crew that I was used to. And this first movie was a first watch for me. So, they were very necessary. I loved the scene with Leslie where they were trying to like bully him to get information. And, they found themselves in... They basically found themselves on the other end of things, didn't they? At
all
the
the
Blue
time.
Oyster.
Well, I mean, Blanks and Copeland do return, so we're going to have to talk about them a little bit later. Both of them return in Police Academy 3 back in training, and Copeland returns in Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. I don't remember him, though.
Well, okay.
He wasn't memorable.
How long has it been since Police Academy 4 you've watched?
It's been a minute.
Right? Just a little bit. But I think the thing is, tropes be tropes, right? You're going to have the bullies. But I mean, like, this is Revenge of the Nerds, right? This is Midnight Madness. This is PCU. Like, you have these characters, like David Spade in PCU. This is exactly what these two characters are. These are the ones that are they're brown nosing and they become the tools of the the man, right? Of the establishment that's trying to beat down it's freaking C School, right? It is every single movie of that ilk where there is some kind of school and damn the man and damn the establishment.
These are all great movies that you're listing, by the way.
I know.
Some of which we've covered.
I know.
Some are on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? We have grown up in an era of bad classic movies.
Oh, completely. But I put these two together because they remind me of someone. They remind me of a character, two characters, actually. They remind me of cartoon characters.
Ren and Stimpy?
No.
Pinky and the Brain?
No. You got to go back a little bit further. Looney Tunes, where you had like the big gruff dog and the little dog that's running around going, whatever you say, boss, whatever you say, boss, whatever you say kind of thing. And they always get their comeuppance. That's what they feel like to me. With Blanks is like the big dog and Copeland's the little dog that's just bouncing around, like thinking the big dog is all that in a bag of potato chips.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they definitely connected early on, and then again were recruited by the lieutenant to be the bullies, be the, the ones who try and take Mahoney down.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, if you want to compare it to Ren and Stimpy, Blanks is Ren and Copeland is definitely Stimpy. Stimpy, you idiot! George Gaines, who played Commandant Eric Lassard, your thoughts on him?
Aw, just aw is all I can say. I love that he just seemed so kind, and you almost have to kind of wonder, how he got to his ranking, how he got to his point in his police career, because he does seem so nice. He seems, again, like the Leslie Nielsen character, right? Like, kind of a little bit bumbly, but I mean, just a very kind, he has a kind face. He has a smile, in one of the scenes, he had a pretty big smile. And I think
that's one way of putting it.
I think that scene was absolutely made because he just seems so innocent and he's so funny. He plays it so well.
I mean, in the 80s were so good to him too, right? Because of course he had a long stint on Punky Brewster as Punky's adopted father. So yeah. But there was just something so genuinely lovable about his presence. Like, he seems like, I'm going to age him here, but he was in his 60s when he did this film, so I'm not really stretching any boundaries here, but he seemed like the grandfather everyone wants to go visit.
Exactly. Which again makes you wonder, like, when the opening scene where they are talking about the Johnsons, and he's again just like so naive and so like, that was a great time. And then kind of realizing, what he tunes into the conversation almost and going, oh, like, But yeah, you almost wonder, like,
because I don't think
the rise, it was almost like he was out of, I don't know, like promoted above his, the
Peter principle, promoted beyond his abilities.
Well, I don't even think it was beyond his ability. I just think he was just a genuinely likable character in a pool of unlikable Johnson sizing.
Too nice for field work.
Yeah.
Too nice for the grit and grind. Like, but that's the other thing too. Like his whole almost like, appeasing of this guy talking about too many Johnsons kind of thing. It's almost like the idea of just anything negative is just against him. But he comes off as a little daft and a little senile. But I mean, there's a genuine heartness to him.
Do you know what he is? He is the he's the German Shepherd puppy that failed the canine training because he was too nice. No, this is a real thing. They have puppy adoption for the puppies that are considered too nice, who fail their, police dog training. right? And he's kind of like the police dog, the canine that was just likable. He just liked everybody. And so he, I don't know, was probably promoted through the ranks because he's a really nice guy. They couldn't get rid of him. So they gave him his role. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, can you be fired for being too nice?
I'm sure he was a damn good cop.
At some point. G.W. Bailey, who played Lieutenant Harris, the, for lack of a better term, asshole of the entire movie. Your thoughts on him?
Oh, he was such a good asshole. He was so unlikable and so good at what he did.
Every single moment of his screen time, he's sniveling and conniving and condescending and annoying and just an ass. Every body movement that he did, the consistent polishing of his own knob. Yeah, I said that sentence, but watch the movie and you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, his very aura on screen just screams ass. Like the kind of character you want to see get his comeuppance. But that's the thing. This is wrestling rules number 1, right? Heel pops are a thing. If you can get the crowd to boo you, you have done your job. And Lieutenant Harris, you are inwardly rooting for the horse's ass in this.
And that is a very succinct summary of the first movie. Yes. Yeah. And
the horse's ass met the horse's ass. Yes.
he indeed is a horse's ass. But I mean, it works so perfectly. And he's so self-aware. He's like, I've got you as a recruit because, I'm the best and you're the worst. And we're going to make each other's lives absolute hell throughout,
but that's
the 14 weeks.
But it's a comedy movie. So you want him to be the establishment, to be that which the students, and yes, cadets are students, are fighting against. This isn't a situation like a Heartbreak Ridge film where you have Clint Eastwood, who is the gunnery sergeant in charge of his band of misfits, but he's kind of about as broken as they are, and it becomes more of a sympathetic character. This is comedy, and Harris is the person that's going to be the source of all frustration of the cadets, and he does it so well.
But you've got to wonder if when he was a police cadet, maybe which character would you say he was? Maybe almost kind of a mix between...
Oh, he was blanks. He was so blanks, which is why I think a character like Harris would basically recognize almost himself in blanks. And then Copeland was along the way as well. Because that's the thing. It's not like Copeland is, his guy. Blanks is his guy and Copeland's just the puppy dog that comes along.
Mm-hmm. Because they connected so quickly.
Well, exactly. They were there together and they were, come hell or high water, that's how it was going to go. So I completely get that. But the other thing too is that, Harris is one of those characters that continues to go on. He's in Police Academy 2. He's not in 3, but he is in 4 and he is in 5. So we will be talking about G.W. Bailey a bit more over the next 7 weeks. But I mentioned at the beginning of this show that obviously this film is a product of its time. Is this one of those films where you feel the need to put a disclaimer that says it's a movie of its time on, if it's on like some kind of broadcast TV or on some kind of streaming service? Because I know they've been doing that, because there are some films from eras that have subject matter that today shouldn't be talking about that, or shouldn't be portraying characters like that. Do you think in hindsight, by recognizing that everything that is wrong in this film comes from the characters who themselves are wrong, do you think that takes some of the sharpness of the wrongness out of it?
I think that's a very accurate statement. I mean...
Is that your way of saying I'm right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without saying that you're right.
I get it once during a show. That's it.
A very accurate assessment. Yes.
You said many, many words, many fine words.
That's my way of circular talking around, not admitting your rightness on that. It was almost like, I wonder at the time if it was done intentionally. You had mentioned that the most inappropriate lines are spoken by the idiot or the clown.
Harris, Blanks, and Copeland, especially Copeland.
Right. Basically, I mean, that was a lot of the comedies at the time. Like you had the Archie Bunker and you had just inappropriate.
But the thing with Archie Bunker, and you can relate this right to The Simpsons,
humor,
is that Homer is the idiot on The Simpsons, right? Archie Bunker fills that role on All in the Family, and everything he says is everything that's wrong, right? So again, not that he's the idiot, but his entire character is what everyone else around him is trying not to be. It's almost a perfect example of, here is the example of everything that is wrong. Don't be this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to play this for laughs because it's still a comedy, but it's almost, it doesn't glorify it. It points it out, shines a light on it, and it says, this is the idiot. This is the person who's wrong. Don't be wrong with them.
Yeah. And you know what? I tend to think, thank goodness that we've come so far in, catering humor that it's still funny, but without being offensive.
You can still laugh at this film. Don't sit there and say, oh, they made this joke and they made this joke. Yeah, they did, but they did it in a way to prove how wrong it is. So I still think that this film can and should be watched today. Find the physical media, because to my knowledge, I mean, unless you like buy it on like Amazon or YouTube or something like that, it's not available for streaming unless you purchase it. So thank God I found this box set, because we're going to be here for a bit talking Police Academy, and I'm all for it. But it is time. So Carrie, who is your MVP of Police Academy 1?
Without a doubt, I like Hooks.
I knew you would.
I think Hooks is the best character because, you know what? You're just rooting for that girl and you want her to do well. And yeah, when she found her voice, I'm like, yeah.
She did. She stood up on the couch.
Yes.
For me, I'm going with George Gaines, Commandant Lassard. Again, there's just something so freaking lovable about this guy in this role that you cannot... I don't think you could have picked a better person for. Yeah, Leslie Nielsen could have pulled it off, right? But of course, like Airplane, Naked Gun films, like that's more of a almost slapstick, goofy comedy kind of vibe. But you needed someone with a bit more of a grandfatherly tone, I think. I
was going to say, and not to add ageism to, the series of tropes that we've got going on here, but the fact that he was... You mentioned, 60 when
in his 60s,
the movie came out. The fact that he was a little bit older, probably nearing retirement age, and you could tell that, where, the commandant is about to retire.
It feels like that cushy job to get the pension. Yeah.
Yeah. There's kind of that role that wants to open up. So you can kind of see Lieutenant Harris's motivation there maybe as well,
Okay. I'm going to ask, because this was the weird thought I had while I was putting my notes together here. All right. So obviously we had the Naked Gun reboot, or at least continuation, that released this year, starring Liam Neeson taking on the son of Leslie Nielsen role. If they were ever to make a Police Academy today, would you want Liam Neeson in the role of Commandant Lassard?
Ooh. Okay, I didn't study or prepare for this
Well, that's because you didn't read my notes.
But I could see Liam Neeson. I could also see almost a Tom Hanks in that role. Age him a little bit.
No. It just came to me, and it's brilliant. And I'm going to say it, and then any movie studio that is listening to this podcast, hi, you're going to want to grab a pen, grab a paper, write this down right now. Okay, Police Academy reboot, role of Commandant Lassard, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
1,000%. Actually, I think I'd like to see Jeff Goldblum in, I don't know, would he be too old for the role of Mahoney?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. You need someone.
But an aged Mahoney.
Tom Holland. Holland.
No. You're thinking way too young. Like,
no, he's about that age. They're looking for people in their 20s. But yes, Jeff Goldblum as Commandant Lassard in a Police Academy remake. You're welcome, world. Make it happen.
I think that needs to happen.
It does need to happen. Right now, someone's punching this into some like AI generator. It's like, Jeff Goldblum is Commandant Eric Lassard. Go. And I can see it.
And you can send the, ideas and movie checks to care of. It's not that bad.
All right, Carrie, thank you so much for this. And dear listeners, strap in because next week is Police Academy 2. The journey continues. But until that time, you guys know the drill. If there's a movie out there that you think is unfairly maligned or so bad that there is no way in a Police Academy that we can find anything good to say about it, hit us up on social media at NotThatBadCast or go to our website at NotThatBadCast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out our sister show. If you want to hear us talk about music, there can only be one. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is It's Not That Bad, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.